What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Face to Heels. Yes, it has been a long time coming. It's been over a month since I've done a pro wrestling show, but I'm doing one tonight. I know that I sound like a broken record here, but I do want to apologize for not doing this show as often as I should or as I want to. Um, just again, my busy schedules kind of kept me from, getting on more frequently. But I do have some free time tonight, and we're going to discuss some wrestling. I mean, it's been over a month. Just go into the current state of wrestling right now. It's an interesting time. We just a couple months ago we were, you know, getting off that incredible high of WrestleMania. Cody becoming the world champion. You know, he finished the story. Uh, Damian Priest cashed in his money in the bank to become world champion for Raw. Um, you know, it's been it was an incredible ride with the Bloodline, Roman Reigns losing finally after almost 3.5 years, and well, excuse me, now he's on a sabbatical. But the past couple months has been, we'll say, interesting, to say the least. And creatively, could it be better? It can be, but when you're coming off a huge storyline like WWE did with the Bloodline, um, and Cody finally conquering Roman Reigns, was the guy to do it. Um, and again, it was one of the better storylines we had in pro wrestling in quite some time. So, of course, maybe things aren't going to be as great, but it is what it is. And right now, Cody is, I think he's doing pretty good as the WWE Universal Champion. He's had a couple of good matches, obviously with AJ Styles. He had a very good match with Logan Paul. Um, Now they're going back to AJ Styles again. Um, I'll be honest with you. I think it's Cody's a little bit in neutral right now, creatively, until he gets an opponent that's going to be, you know, a threat to Cody in his championship. And to be honest with you, you know, I I think they're just buying time until The Rock comes back. You know, I'm assuming that's going to be the main event for WrestleMania 41 here in Las Vegas, where I'm at right now. And I'm going to do my best to go to at least one of the nights of WrestleMania. I got to do that. Um, so yeah, right now, as far as WWE goes, things are solid. Um, I do like what they're doing with Liv Morgan. Obviously, she's gotten better. I've been a little critical of her. In the past, I didn't quite get it. As far as what her character is. I know it's easy to say, well, it's Harley Quinn or whatever, but um, she's really grown. She's a lot better on the mic. She's always been a good wrestler. That's not surprising, but her promo skills, her personality is starting to, come out. I do like this heel version of Miss Liv Morgan. The stuff she's doing with Dominic. It's entertaining. I enjoy that. And eventually, she's going to have that match with Rhea. Uh, it just matter of when. When Rhea's going to be healthy enough to compete. Um, I'm hoping it's SummerSlam. We're a couple months away from that. I don't know if Rhea will be ready or not in time for that, but it's definitely going to happen. So at some point, whether it's SummerSlam or later on in the year, um, right now it's a good program. It's good stuff on Raw. Uh, Chad Gable, you know, the whole Gable, Sami Zayn, Otis, Alpha Academy stuff is pretty good. I'm very entertained by that. Again, I'm a fan of the story. Um, You know, give me the storylines. You know, give me good characters that are going to make me invest. You know, not like the stuff you see in the background there with uh, the Young Bucks, but we'll get AEW in a little bit. But um, as far as you know, the Gable Alpha Academy Zane Intercontinental Titles program, it's been really good, and you know they're building up nice. You know the stories, it's like cooking something, it's simmering. You know you don't want to rush it, you're not trying to microwave it, cooking it nice and slow. So when that payoff happens, it's going to be incredible. Um, especially when Otis turns on Chad Gable, it's going to be that pop's going to be really loud. And speaking of matches, in a couple weeks, a week from this Saturday, I believe, is Clash at the Castle. The world title match has been announced. Damian Priest going to defend the title against Drew McIntyre. Now, this is interesting because we all know that CM Punk's going to be back, you know, pretty soon. We know that's him and Drew. That's going to be the money program, at least on the Raw side of things. Yeah, we don't know when CM Punk will be back, but he is going to be returning soon. So it's really interesting because you're having this show in Scotland, and that's where Drew's from. We all remember the last time that, you know, a Clash at the Castle was in Wales, you know, but still in that area where Drew resides. And Drew lost that match, obviously, to Roman Reigns when Solo interfered. That was Solo Sikoa's debut, by the way. It's interesting because I've been going back and forth on this. You know, who do you have win that match? And while, you know, Drew would probably be the choice to put the belt on him, you know, because you want to get him the title, and then CM Punk goes after it. You know, you have your money program right there. But do you take it off Damian only after a couple months? If we, you know, knowing Triple H's booking, his philosophy, his style of booking, he likes champions that hold the belt for a while. So, what do you do in that scenario? Do you put Damian Priest? Does Damian Priest put Drew over, or do you find a way somehow that Drew McIntyre loses, gets screwed over, but you can't have Drew lose clean, you know, especially in Scotland. So it's a very interesting scenario on what's going to happen in that match. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do because it's do you take the title off Damian Priest after a couple months? I don't know, and you know, again, I'm not saying Damian Priest is a bad champion. I think he's done pretty well, but at the same time, with Drew McIntyre in his home country, do you have him not win the title? I mean, how do you not have him win the title? You know, it's a very interesting scenario that, you know, I'm interested to see how it plays out. I know we all can put our creative hats on, say, oh, they should do this or they should do that, but it could go either way. It could really go either way, and you know, maybe the more likely scenario could be Drew wins by a disqualification. But then it's kind of like, well, he wins, but he doesn't win the title. You know, I could see that. Maybe it's where, you know, a situation where Punk screws Drew. But see, CM Punk's a babyface. You know, you can't turn him heel right now. So it's a very interesting scenario where they're going to go with this. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens. Let's sit back and watch because it should be a very, very fun show. You know, especially this match. It's got a lot of implications going forward creatively. And we've got to remember too that Gunther winning King of the Ring. By the way, it's a very good show as well, King of the Ring. he has the next title shot at SummerSlam. So that's another thing you got to factor in. Who does Gunther face? Does he face Drew McIntyre? Does he face Damian Priest? It's and at the same time, there's another conundrum. Do you want Gunther to lose on his first title shot? You know, Gunther's just white hot right now. He's got a lot of momentum. Do you have Gunther lose twice in 4 or 5 months on a big show? So you see what I mean? That's where the creative conundrum's at, and I'm sure they're going to figure it out. I know Triple H is very creative. He's got great people working with him, so I can't wait to see what happens. That's all I can say. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to give a shout out to Marty McKnight. He says, "Hey Ben, hey Marty, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Appreciate that." Now on the SmackDown side, we got Cody Rhodes, and it looks like him and AJ are going to have a program again. On Friday night, this past Friday, we saw a tease where AJ was going to possibly retire, but it was all a setup just to turn on Cody. And AJ's reunited with the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, so that seems to be the plan going forward. And it looks like that might even be the match at Clash at the Castle, AJ and Cody. I think Cody will win. I mean, you're not taking the belt off him. He's your number one guy in the whole WWE. So, that's not going to happen. But I do expect a good match. Again, they had one at Backlash in France a couple months ago. Very good match. Crowd loved AJ. They loved Cody. Both of them brought it. I don't expect anything different. This match, they might have, assuming that's going to happen. They haven't made it official yet, but if they do, then I expect another barn burner. So, yeah, again, with Cody, it's just one of those things where it's a kind of, creatively maybe driving in neutral. Because, like I said earlier on the show, I think Cody's number one opponent's going to be The Rock at WrestleMania 41. So, you got about 10 months to, come up with different things for Cody. We'll see how that turns out. Again, another 10 months before Mania, so a lot can happen in that time, and we'll see where it goes. Marty has a question. He says, "What is your opinion on the Uncle Howdy situation with the QR codes popping up each week?" I'm excited. I don't want to say I'm ecstatic that it's about this, because whatever you do, as far as and I get it, they're honoring Bray Wyatt, they're trying to keep that thing going for him, and that's great. It's nice sentimental stuff, but it's not going to be the same. I don't see this being long term. Obviously it's going to be Bo Dallas. That's Bray Wyatt's real life brother as well. Eric Rowan. I think others have been named. I think it was Dexter Lumis and Nikki Cross, and maybe Alexa Bliss. But as far as that goes, I'm cautiously optimistic. Yeah, it's going to be nice to see this whole Wyatt family thing. I think it's going to be a little bit different, but it's not going to beat the original. And again, it's going to be interesting who they feud with. Where are they going to be, on Raw, SmackDown? I don't know. There's a lot of groups, teams that can go up against. Maybe somebody like the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, or Authors of Pain. They could use a good feud with the Wyatt family. It'd be interesting. or yeah, whatever they call themselves, when they come back or when they re-enter WWE. Again, all we're seeing is QR codes, which is pretty creative. I'll give them that. But I'm just cautiously optimistic, not like yeah, but at the same time not ecstatic either. We'll see how it plays out. But as far as who does this group feud with first, I don't know. Like I said, depends where they go. Is it Raw or SmackDown? I'm gonna assume Raw. Um, and Final Testament would be the first group that would come to mind. They could use a feud there. Um, you got the LWO on Raw. Judgment Day, but I think Judgment Day is starting to break up, so who knows? And then on SmackDown, I mean, I don't know. Street Profits, Waller and Austin Theory. I don't know, but whatever they do, I hope it works out. Hope it's entertaining, but we'll see how they play it out. Um, Marty says, I think it would be very interesting if they feuded with the new bloodline. Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to go that route just because I think right now the bloodline is kind of we're waiting for Roman to come back. Now I've heard rumors that Roman could be coming back at SummerSlam to face Solo Sikoa. So that might be what they're focusing on right now. Ultimately, it is going to be the Roman's bloodline versus Sikoa's bloodline, and at least that's where it's going to go. I think with Jimmy Uso coming back pretty soon, he's going to want revenge on Sikoa and Tama Tonga Loa, and I'm sure Roman's going to come back with Jimmy, and then Jay's going to come back, help them out. It's going to be the old bloodline against the new bloodline. And by the way, this new bloodline, I'm enjoying. Sikoa's taken over. He's doing a good job with it, man. He's, you got to look at it like the mafia. They family members take over for a fallen one, a fallen leader. So you're trying to establish, leadership, everything. I like that mafia style kind of storyline there, and that's what they're doing with the bloodline. So I just don't know if this Uncle Howdy, this new group, is going to be featured against the bloodline, at least not right now. So if they debut, it'll probably be against somebody else. Just my opinion. Yeah. So, as far as Clash of the Castle, we got again Drew against Damian Priest for the world title. Bayley's going to defend the WWE Women's title against Piper Niven. Again, Bayley should win that one. Because again, Nia Jax, she's the queen of the ring. She's going to get her title shot at SummerSlam, so that's the direction they're going to go. Bayley and Nia. But before that, you do have Money in the Bank after this Clash of the Castle, which is early July. Jey Uso announced that he's going to be one of the first participants in the Money in the Bank. So within the next few weeks, you're going to see more people being announced for that match. They'll probably have qualifying matches, etc. And also, I forgot to mention, on SmackDown, you got LA Knight and Logan Paul. Eventually they're planting those seeds for a match. I'm assuming that's going to be at SummerSlam. I think that's probably where you're going to have LA Knight beat Logan Paul. Logan Paul is probably going to drop the U.S. title by then and put it on LA Knight, who I think can have a good run with the U.S. title. LA Knight's another guy that could be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, maybe win that. So who knows? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there. And then the women's side of the Money in the Bank, I haven't heard anything yet as far as who's going to be in that matchup. I'm sure there's just going to be qualifying matches. If I had to make an early prediction, I would probably maybe say Tiffany Stratton. I think that's a name. That's somebody that's, you can build your women's division around. The only thing is, she did get in trouble recently for some comments she made in the past on social media. So maybe they put that off to the side. You know, I don't know, but I would go with Tiffany Stratton for the women's side of the Money in the Bank. Young star has really gotten over, and she's had some great matches, great feuds with you know when she's gotten on the main roster. So hey, I that's somebody I would give the briefcase to. That's what you want to do with Money in the Bank. It helps build a star, and you know what better way to do that than or who better than Tiffany Stratton? You know, that's how you build stars. Give them the briefcase, play off of it, for a while. You don't have to cash it in right away, or maybe you do. Maybe you cash it on the same night. Look at Liv Morgan a couple years ago, Money in the Bank. She cashed it, she won it, and then on the same night cashed it in against, I believe it was Ronda Rousey, to win the uh, at the time the SmackDown Women's titles. So you know, for wrestlers like that, young and just going to be the future of WWE, that's what you do. You give them the Money in the Bank. Um, Damian Priest, I know he's older, he's 41, but he's newer to the WWE scene. They gave him the briefcase, and look what happened. He's the world champion on Raw. So having having the Money in the Bank, I think, especially if it's building to a younger star, I think it works out well. It promotes them, it makes them a bigger star, and you can play off it and cash it anytime, and it really helps them out. So as far as the men's side, I could be anybody. It could be Jey Uso, LA Knight. Who knows? We'll see what happens, but it should be very interesting Money in the Bank. Can't wait to see who the names are going to be in that. So yeah, stay tuned. Marty's got another question. If the Judgment Day breaks up, what do you think about the idea of WWE packaging Balor and to the Demon King, what made him very popular in New Japan? I do like the Damon or Finn Balor. It's interesting, I wouldn't be against it. But that demon character, there's a lot that goes into it, Marty. You got to realize you can't use it every time, you know, because you want to make that special, but also cosmetics. They said, I've read one time it took about 6 to 8 hours to paint Finn Balor's entire body. I'm not kidding. That's what I heard. And stuff like that, you have to do it for like a special event. And I think a WrestleMania, that's huge. A SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, events like that is where you can use the demon very well. But I don't think they're going to do it. I think I see Finn doing his own thing eventually, but not as the demon. Maybe every once in a while, for a special occasion. But I don't know. You never know. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't be against the idea, but at the same time, there's a lot that goes into that. Again, the cosmetic side of it, you have to paint them, and it takes a long time. That's why you don't see it very often. So, but that's a good question, though, Marty. And Then you got another one saying, I can't believe that I've heard rumors that when Sting paints his face, it takes at least 2 hours to paint his face. And when I dressed up as him for Halloween, it took me like 3.5 hours. So I can believe 8 hours to paint your entire body. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it takes a long time. I don't know how Finn did that. I don't know how he puts up with that. Like, just imagine you sit there or you have to like stand in a certain position for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. Now, that's what I've heard. We don't know. Maybe it's shorter, maybe it's longer. Who knows? But to stand there for the sake of arguments, let's say 6 hours. That's a fourth of your day right there. Just a fourth of your entire day. Usually 6 hours, you can sleep on 6 to 8 hours. So imagine standing there being painted, especially how you design it. It's a very grueling process, and credit to Bauer for doing something like that. That's commitment right there. Because I don't know, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry, I couldn't do that. Stand there for 6 to 8 hours. But then at the same time, there are people who get tattoos that have a piece that can take up the 6 to 8 hours to work on, and that's getting a tattoo. That's different. You're getting a needle with ink put on your body. So this is just spray paint and design, touch, all that stuff. So hey, kudos to anybody that does that. I couldn't do it, so yeah, but it's very interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the WWE side of things. Again, a couple weeks or a week from Saturday, we got Clash of the Castles. So I'm pretty excited about this event. WWE is going across the world. They are World Wrestling Entertainment, and they've been to France, went to Saudi Arabia for their last show, and this upcoming PLE, they're going to Scotland. And then Money in the Bank is going to be in Toronto, and then SummerSlam in Cleveland. So yeah, they are going all over. And then in Germany at the end of August, the Bash in Berlin. So I mean, they are World Wrestling Entertainment, and good for them. Good for them. Um, you know, especially with now they're under the Endeavor umbrella with UFC. So yeah, exciting times for WWE right now. I know creatively it might be a little bit slow, but you know after WrestleMania, it it can tend to be that way. But we'll see what happens. There's a lot of interesting things that are going down. Again, I mentioned earlier, Drew against Damian Priest. Who do you have win that match? Could go either way. Um, you know, I could see a Drew winning by disqualification. Probably not the best thing to do, but fans might not like that. But again, you got to think about it. Do you want to take the belt off Priest after a couple months? But you don't want to have Drew lose either. Drew's on a very hot streak right now, and also got to think CM Punk. He's on the horizon. It's a very interesting time creatively. So we'll see how WWE does. Usually they do a good job with these things, and I don't expect anything different. Nicole Klychek, thanks for tuning in. She says, Canada, oh Canada, yes. Yes, oh Canada. They congratulations, by the way, to the Edmonton Oilers on going to the Stanley Cup Finals. They are playing Florida Panthers starting Saturday night in Miami. Should be a very good series. It's good to see Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, finally getting a shot at the Stanley Cup. That's huge. It should be a fun series. I can't wait to watch it. Scott Thaler's thanks for tuning in. USA, yeah, USA. So USA versus Canada kind of reminds me of 1997. The Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, Jim Neanville, Brian Pillman, British Bulldog, Owen Hart. The USA versus Canada. That was some great stuff. Talk about blast from the past. Probably one of the best years in pro wrestling, in my opinion, was 1997. You know, yeah, WCW at its height. WWE was starting to get it going with the Attitude Era, slowly but surely. Um, Real quick, um, I did watch it was a documentary on Vice last night called "Who Killed WCW." It's a four-part documentary, 4 episodes. The first one aired last night. Very interesting. You know, there's always these theories about what happened to WCW, how did it end up, you know, eventually going out of business. Me personally, I just think it was a lot of things. Turner company, the network that they showed WCW on. I thought the NWO thing lasting too long. The politics, wrestler politics. So it was a lot of things that you know helped get to the demise of WCW. Um, it's not really just one thing. It's not just Bischoff or Russo or other things. It's a combination of things. But anyway, I saw it last night. It's on Vice. I think they show it on YouTube as well. So it's a pretty interesting documentary. That's just they showed part one last night. Again, it's a 4-part series, so there's 3 more episodes to go. If you're a fan of WCW like I was in the '90s, it's an interesting watch. So check it out. Scott says, Marty, if you don't drink a case of beer, it would only take you 10 minutes to paint yourself. Oh, there's Scott antagonizing Marty. Marty says, I agree. 1997 was one of the best years in pro wrestling with the Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker, The Attitude Era versus WCW, Sting versus NWO. Yeah. That was a great time. The NWO was white hot. Sting, that whole, change in personality that, the Crow character, it was inspired by Scott Hall, so, he said, hey, you should be the Crow, like the Crow version of a wrestler. And Sting loved it and he went with it and worked out very well. Now, the match itself, Hogan Sting Starrcade 97, we all know that wasn't the best match, but the things leading up to it, the storyline leading up to it was very good. So, yeah, those were just incredible times, man. Absolutely incredible. Um, will we ever see that again in this modern era? I mean, probably not to those levels. It's a different world now than it was 25, 30 years ago, but wrestling can sure be a lot more fun. It's been fun lately. So, we'll see what happens. And, WWE does have another company that's, on TV, AEW. I got them going on right now. Um, AEW's been interesting these last few months. They've, you know, there's been a lot of stuff online, with how AEW's been booked. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's creatively, it hasn't been great. I know Swerve Strickland's the world champion. I feel like he's been kind of an afterthought, you know. He should be booked better than he has, but you know, they've put him in kind of the back burner. They've this Young Bucks, Jack Perry, Okada storyline with FTR and Blackpool Combat Club, Darby Allin. I mean, it's been okay, but and you also have Mercedes. She became the new AEW TBS champion, beat Willow Nightingale at Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing was here in Vegas last week. I did not go. Again, I just wasn't interested in the show. As far as pay-per-views, they do a good job, good wrestling matches. But like I said, leading up to the pay-per-views, the storylines, not so much. And There is good news though. MJF is back. That's a big boost for AEW creatively. They really needed him back. I mean, they had to get MJF back. He's just one of the best, performers in the company in AEW. They've been really missing him. He's just next level. And right now they haven't really built stars in AEW lately. So getting somebody like MJF back I think it's a very huge momentum thing for AEW, which they desperately need. But again, we'll see how they book him. That's the thing. Just because MJF's back, you automatically think, yay, you're gonna have sellout crowds again. You're gonna have better creative. We'll see. We'll see. I'm really interested to see what MJF does. Who he's going to go up against. There's talk about Adam Cole, but Adam Cole's injured right now. He can't compete. So, I don't know. We'll see what AEW does, but I just think that they need to get something going because, I've been saying it for the past few months. What are they doing right now? Who's their top guy? MJF's back, but they haven't really made Swerve Strickland, who I think is very talented. I love him, but he's been kind of made more like an afterthought. Like, okay, you're the champ, but Will Ospreay. I mean, he's getting more, time than Swerve Strickland. By the way, Will Ospreay is going up against Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door, which it's interesting. A match like that I probably would have had for All In August when they're in London. Will Ospreay's home country, So, but I don't know. We'll see what it just seems like typical, AEW Tony Khan booking. They just book week to week, and it seems like they don't have a lot of things planned out, and it's frustrating and kind of makes you not want to watch the show. So right now they got here Saraya. She's going up against Mariah May. The former Page of WWE. So that's very interesting. But yeah, Marty, you got one more question. Is the rumors true about Darby Allin suffering an ankle or knee injury, and why hasn't he been on television? Well, he was at Double or Nothing. He competed. He had an injury. He broke his foot doing some stunt double stuff. And then also, he actually got hit by a bus. I'm not kidding you. When he was walking in New York City a month ago, he got hit by a bus. I'm not kidding. Look it up. Google it. But yeah, and then obviously the Eddie Kingston injury kind of forced Darby to come back sooner than expected because, they had to have him in that match for the Anarchy in the Arena. So instead of Eddie Kingston, it was Darby Allin. So he came back probably sooner than he should have, but they had to replace somebody with Eddie Kingston, who unfortunately had a knee injury at a New Japan show. Took on Gabe Kidd, who it was like a match without any ring ropes, and I guess Gabriel Kidd put Kingston in a suplex, and when he went for the suplex, Kingston hit his knee on the guardrail really hard, tore his knee, tore every ligament. So he's going to be out for probably a year, which it's just unfortunate. That kind of injury, though, from how he injured it, could have been prevented, in my opinion. Same with Adam Copeland. His match against Malachi Black in the steel cage barbed wire match, jumped off the cage, and landed feet first on Malachi Black. But what happened was he also tore his knee up. Um, so he's going to be out for like 6 months. Again, that could have been prevented. You know, Adam, you're 50 years old, man. You know, the older you are, the you're not as strong. Your bones aren't as strong. You know, so doing moves like that, I get it. The adrenaline rush out there when you're trying to perform in front of a big crowd um, on a pay per view, it's tough to resist. But hopefully, yeah. And Adam even said himself when he did his social media video, saying that, yeah, I shouldn't have done what I did, but it was the adrenaline rush. Not thinking about it, but yeah, those injuries could have been prevented, but it is what it is. So yeah. Well, that's pretty much the state of wrestling right now. By the way, we got NXT Battleground this Sunday. Real quick, Jordan Grace, TNA Knockouts champion, is going to be wrestling Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title. That's more of the WWE TNA crossover that they're doing, which I think is pretty cool. Jordan Grace is a great wrestler. She got the look. She's just very good at what she does. I'm sure her and Roxanne are going to have a great match. And then got to talk about Ethan Page. He just signed with WWE and NXT. I think that's a great addition to the NXT roster. Ethan Page has been with AEW in the last few years. I like Page. I think he's a very charismatic character, good wrestler. He's going to do good in NXT. I think, they got the right character for him. They'll do right by him. I'm not saying that AEW didn't do right by him, but he sort of just got lost in the shuffle. And, it's unfortunate for a talent like Ethan Page. I think he's definitely somebody that can, be at least on the NXT level, a top guy, So he should have a very good match with Trick Williams, the NXT champion. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Ethan Page does in NXT. Again, very talented. He's only in his early 30s, so he's got a lot of time left. He'll do well on the NXT roster, and yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's getting a chance to be on that side of the fence now. It's you hate to see that for as far as AEW, but hey, they got a lot of talent on the AEW side as well. I don't think it's the end of the world that AEW can shrink down their roster a little bit. Just a lot of wrestlers on there. Not enough of them are being used. So, one door closes, another one opens for Ethan Page. So, best of luck to him. That's pretty much going to do it, man. I've pretty much taken a lot of your time already, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Marty, thanks for tuning in. Nicole, Scott, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to try and do more of these shows more often. Again, with my busy schedule, it's been kind of tough to get on here and especially talk wrestling. It's one of the things I love to do. And I like to talk other stuff, NFL, have at it. We talk about anything on Friday nights. Hopefully I'll be able to do that show this Friday. Again, busy schedule. I got to try and fit that in, but we're getting close to NFL season. I'm excited for that. So there will definitely be more shows, and also wrestling shows, as you know. So before I take off, you can watch this show on my YouTube channel at Ben Cornett 9015. You can also watch on X at BennyBoys702 and in the on Facebook in the Benzone Facebook group. Or if you're a friend of mine, you can always see it on my personal page. So, and please give me a like, subscribe, share it. I'd greatly appreciate that. Try to grow this thing. as much as I can, so yeah, do talk wrestling, football, NFL. We've got the NBA Finals starting tomorrow night, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals starting Saturday. It's just an exciting time, really exciting time. And if you're a soccer fan, the Euro 2024 is coming up next week. So yeah, it's just a lot of stuff going on right now. So it's exciting times. So with that being said, I'm gonna take off. But once again, my social media handles are to my right. Or if you're watching, it's on the left-hand side, the upper left-hand side, just above the Caesar's Palace building right there, where you can find me. So please, again, like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on X and follow me on the Ben Zone and Instagram and YouTube as well. So with that being said, everybody have a good night. Take care, and we will see you next time right here on Face to Heels. Take care.